Acker, Montgomery, and Long Beach State prepare for Hawaii reunion at Sheriff Center. When first-year Long Beach State head coach Chris Acker encountered his old boss Aaron Gannett, an ex-program Hawaii in December, it was possible to treat it more or less as business, as usual within the familiar geometry of the Walter Pyramid. But when Acker and John Montgomery, two former Hawaii staff members, got off the plane and outside the terminal at Daniel K. Inouye International Airport on Wednesday, it hit a little different. The only thing we said was, "Man, this is about to be weird," Acker told Spectrum News in a phone interview Wednesday. Acker and his assistant Montgomery were part of Gannett's first staff that guided the talented 2015-16 team to a program record 28 wins, a Big West championship, and first NCAA tournament victory in program history. On Thursday night, they will sit on the opponent's sideline as two desperate teams vie for a win at the Stan Sheriff Center. Both UH 13-11, 5-8 Big West, and LBSU 7-18, 3-10 are in a precarious spot with 7 games left. UH is clinging to 7th place, having dropped 5 of 6, while LBSU has lost 8 straight since a 3-2 league start and sits in 10th of 11 teams. Only the top 8 make it to the Big West Championships in Henderson, Nevada, next month. "I think we're both in a challenging situation because we're in a really good league," Acker said. "And any given night, any team can beat you, as we've been on both sides of that." Acker was with Gannett for 2 seasons before taking an assistant job at Boise State in the more prestigious Mountain West. He latched on with mid-major power San Diego State under Brian Dutcher and was on hand for the Aztecs' run to the national championship game in 2023. With that shiny bullet point on his resume, he was hired to take over at LBSU following the Beach's swan song run to the NCAAs under Dan Monson in 2023-24. Montgomery, meanwhile, remained with Gannett for 9 years, rising to associate head coach before citing family reasons last summer for his move to California to join Acker. Hawaii remains a treasured place for Acker, a former Chaminade player who got his first D1 coaching job with UH. He said he recalls fondly the challenge it was to take a largely inherited roster and apply the new staff schemes. The camaraderie of post-game meals have stuck with him. "I'm looking forward to see a lot of the faces that I haven't seen in a very long time," Acker said, "and to try to come out with a victory. But it'll be surreal for sure, just coaching on the other sideline. I'll get all the flashbacks of our first open scrimmage against each other when I first took the UH job. All of those things, driving up and down the highway, being in Waikiki, will come back at some point." Gannett, for his part, has remained consistent with his sentiments about facing colleagues who've either worked under him, alongside him, or above him in his Division I stops at St. Mary's in Hawaii. "You get a little more immune to it over the years," he said this week. "We talked about before, whether it's fellow former St. Mary's assistants, Kyle Smith or David Patrick. When you're in the heat of battle, once the ball gets tipped, you're not really thinking about that. I know we appreciate all those guys have done for us, great coaches, great people, and we always root hard for them. And then in the game, you're kind of focused on the task at hand. UH will be focused on minimizing its turnovers, something it has rued repeatedly during its backslide over the last 3 weeks. In the 8-point loss at the Pyramid on December 7th, an early Big West game to balance out the rest of the Thursday through Saturday schedule from January to March, the Beach got a stat-stuffing performance from guard Devin Askew. He had 28 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 7 steals. Unlike many of its other games, LBSU was able to work the ball inside and have success. Askew, 18.5 points per game, for 0.5 rebounds per game, nearly 5 assists per game, remains the key player to watch for LBSU. UH was led by Marcus Green and Jidis Namixa with a combined 31 points at the Pyramid. But Green and Namixa have been bit players of late, with sporadic, at best, floor time and production. The scoring mantle has fluctuated from player to player, but on Saturday, center Tanner Christensen had one of his most productive games of the season with 23 points and 8 rebounds in a 4-point loss at UC Santa Barbara. The guys are in a great place. "Our team is very united," Gannett said. "We just got to get better. We've had a couple of close losses in that stretch. Two. One possession game to Santa Barbara. One possession game at Davis. So you're not as far off." He acknowledged that Montgomery, with his recent experience at UH and knowledge of much of the roster, has an advantage in knowledge. "I love Mont. He was one of my favorite coaches when he was here," forward Harry Ruliadev said this week. "Still got a lot of love for him, and that sort of lights a lot of fire in me, like with this game on Thursday. I've got a lot of determination to prove them wrong. Since we went down at their place, it gives me a lot of motivation